Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Coram and Ken Shreve here with a breakdown of the action in today's session, Thursday, August 8th, where we saw stocks soar as this rally attempt continues. So it's still early, but a good step in the right direction today, Ken.
Everybody was waiting for that late session fade again, and we didn't get it. Really, strong performance for the market. Volume a little disappointing. We'll talk about that in a second, but found three stocks that actually reported earnings. I want to take a look at Eli Lilly, LLY, also SharkNinja, SN, and finally, a lot of bad news in the security software group at CyberArk had a really nice report, CYBR.
Okay, we'll look at those three stocks, but first let's take a look at the major indexes and provide some perspective to the action today. So here's a look at the NASDAQ, up 2.9% by session's close and basically closing at session highs. The S&P 500 up 2.3% on the day. The Dow was up 1.8%. Also, the Russell 2000 turning in a strong performance with a gain of about 2.2%. So if we go back to the NASDAQ here, Ken, great to see, as you mentioned, a close near session highs. And even with the strength today, it was an inside day to what we saw in yesterday's session, which just goes to show you how volatile it's been out there. If a gain of nearly 3% is still an inside day. So what do you make of where this rally attempt stands?
Well, we're still early. This is NASDAQ recently, came down to its 200-day moving average, closed off its lows, found support, moved above the 16,000 level. So we're 3 days into a rally attempt. But I think you need to remember that a lot of individual stocks and the indexes are going to have some overhead, supply to work through here, and that was brought about by some of these higher volume declines on the way down for the Nasdaq. So, today's strength really didn't do a lot to change, the market health here. You look in the market surge growth 250, you look in the IBD 50, very few actionable setups out there just because we came down so hard so fast. So I think today's action was definitely encouraging. You can see volume on the Nasdaq maybe just crept up a little bit higher from the prior session, but still, when you look at it compared to the higher volume declines that we've seen, it really would be nice to see a good pop and upside volume here. So good day for the market. We didn't fade like we did the past two sessions, and we'll take it for what it is. Third day of a rally attempt. A lot of good movers underneath the surface, but I would still call the market challenged here, but optimistic that we could get that bottoming signal that we're looking for.
Exactly. So we'll have to see if the market can follow up on this strength tomorrow and give us a gain of at least 1%. We'll have to see what the volume looks like. We'll have to see what the setups look like. But in the early stages of this short-term change in trend, we definitely are going to be staying on top of that. And if you look at past market cycles and when you get that turn, they don't all work out, but the ones that do can provide some pretty interesting opportunities for traders out there. So we'll have to take things one day at a time and see what tomorrow brings.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll just take a look at the S&P 500 too, because that also closed near its highs. The percentage gain wasn't as good as the Nasdaq, but you can look at the volume on the NYSE today. Very, very light. So much lighter volume on the NYSE than on the Nasdaq. But same situation for the S&P 500. Third day of a rally attempt, still stuck below some key moving averages here. So, would be good to start to see renewed signs of accumulation in the major stock indexes, and that sometimes can take a little while to play out. So we're certainly encouraged by today. Would have liked to have seen more volume on the Nasdaq and the NYSE, but breadth was pretty good, almost 4-to-1 positive on the NYSE, and last check about 2.5-to-1 positive on the Nasdaq. So overall a good day. And I should mention that the catalyst, we had weaker than expected jobless claims. So market is still holding out hope here for, maybe a soft landing for the economy. I think that's the challenging thing for the stock market right now, is just trying to figure out how sharp is this slowdown going to be, and is it gonna will we have a recession or won't we? And I think the market is still trying to figure that out, which is resulting in some pretty good volatility.
Hmm. Okay. And we also want to take a look at the Dow and the Russell because they are right near a key level, hit resistance at the 50-day line yesterday and back at that level again today here, Ken. So this in a situation here where blue chips, if we can get a little bit more strength, we'd get back above the 50-day line. So that would mark another step in the right direction.
Exactly. And I think the blue chip index is a good one to look at, because when you look at the drops on Thursday, Friday, and Monday, three precipitous drops in volume picked up the pace each one of those days. So they were distribution days, no doubt about it. Now you look at the two up sessions that we've seen today and Tuesday, there hasn't been a whole lot of volume there. So typically, when you like to see lower volume drops and higher volume gains. So like to see the price and volume improve a little bit in the major stock indexes here, but again, overall, really solid day for the market, and market is still holding out hope that it will be a soft landing, or maybe even no landing for the economy. We'll have to see.
All right. And then here's a look at the Russell. Similar picture here. A lot of weakness Thursday, Friday, and Monday. So the market's still trying to get its footing, and we are still holding Monday's low for now and trying to make some upward progress. So we will take it. Okay, let's take a look at XLV. This is the healthcare sector ETF with a nice gain today, up 2.2%, Ken. And it's been one area that's held up better than a lot of others.
Yeah, and this is an ETF for people that maybe have a lot of cash and they're looking for some exposure. This to me looks like it's right in a good solid buy zone here. Support at the 50-day moving average. Now, kind of the similar situation with the stock market. You did have a pretty violent drop down to that 50-day moving average in pretty heavy volume. Now, there has been pretty good volume on the upside here, not only today but on Tuesday as well. So overall, this still looks like a good setup, and seeing a lot of healthcare stocks continuing to act well in this market. Typically a defensive area, and we're also going to look at XLU, and really interesting to see the utilities still outperforming here. XLU also in a nice buy zone here, and not really giving back many gains, holding the 10-day line. So a couple of ETFs that are acting well in this market. I don't really know what to make about utilities leading the market. But we usually want to see better leadership than that, but just sort of a function of where we're at, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. A very defensive mindset. We also want to analyze Nvidia because this is high growth area here and it's been beaten down, but a gain of 6.1% today, was not able to close above the high from yesterday's session when we got a downside reversal, still below a declining 10-day moving average, but holding that century mark here, Ken.
Yeah, so I mean, this is everybody's still watching Nvidia. As Nvidia goes, so goes the market. Nvidia is still challenged here because again, just kind of looking at those higher volume declines, a real bad break of the 50-day moving average with some downside volume, and then again, you're kind of looking at the volume on the rally back, and it's been pretty light, including today. So this one, I'm not sure. Not confident that we're going to see new all-time highs in the short term, but it's building a base, and just like the indexes, we want to see this, start rallying in heavy volume. Earnings are still about a month away, and it will be obviously a very important earnings report for the market. But I mean, Nvidia still strikes me as a challenged stock here, just under some distribution. You can see that accumulation distribution rating has fallen all the way down to E. So just need to start to see some signs of accumulation here, higher volume gains. It might be able to get back above that 50-day moving average and break out of a downtrend, but that still looks like a lot of work the stock has to do for that to happen. So we'll continue to watch Nvidia, but still looks quite challenged here.
Mm-hmm. Nvidia is about 13% below that 50-day line, and we've got earnings coming up in a couple of
Yeah,
weeks.
yep, few weeks away. So it'll be an
Yeah.
important earnings report, and talk about being held to a high standard. Everybody's expecting, Nvidia to, you know, report more strong numbers and raise their guidance again. We'll have to see what they say about demand. But again, from a technical perspective, no one. No one's arguing Nvidia's fundamental strength here, but from a technical perspective, still looks weak.
All right. So a bonus stock there for the audience today with NVIDIA, just given its outsized market impact. But speaking of earnings, let's take a look at three earnings movers today, starting with Eli Lilly, closed up 9.4%. But off session highs, we have a little bit of resistance here, Ken, it looks like for now at the 50-day line, the stock backing off after hitting that level early in the session. But it looks like it was an impressive earnings report here from Lilly with some acceleration for, at least 3 quarters in a row here. It looks like for the bottom line, 2 quarters or maybe at least 1 quarter of acceleration, it looks like officially for the top line. So some strong numbers, 86% bottom line growth, 36% top line growth.
Yeah, and maybe a little disappointing that it wasn't able to kind of move decisively above its 50-day moving average. But you have to keep in mind that Eli Lilly, if you look at the weekly chart, this stock has made such an incredible move, and it finally looks like it's ready to form a new base here. So just like Nvidia, this is a stock market leader that's trying to form a new base. A nice up week taking shape so far in pretty strong weekly volume. So, well, it's very simple here. We're not looking to buy the stock at this level, but if it can form the right side of its base, get back above that 10-week moving average, things get more interesting. Manjaro, the diabetes drug, is still selling like gangbusters, and Zepbound, which is their weight loss injection, doing very well as well. They also raised their full year revenue outlook by $3 billion, significantly raised their earnings guidance. So definitely a little bit of multiple adjustment here, 9.5% gain, but stock's not ready yet. Got to build a base, and we'll see how the base progresses from here.
Yeah. Okay, next on the list, we want to take a look at SharkNinja. Impressive move after its earnings report, Ken. Shares up 17%, heavy volume, of course, behind the move, but the stock breaking out over 80 and then some with an RS line blue dot. And this is a stock that has been rallying nicely this year, formed a very impressive shallow base heading into the report. And so, with the technical strength and solid fundamentals heading into the report, something that was on the leaderboard team's radar before today's results.
Yeah, it was. We have some call options here that expire a week from tomorrow, August 16th. 77.50 strike price. Paid, I think the premium was a little over $3. So the trade is profitable over $80 a share. So this is, unless things really go wrong with the market and SharkNinja, this is likely options that we'll exercise, and then we'll move SharkNinja to the leaders list. But for a breakout, this was super, super strong. I want to just look at the 5-minute intraday chart here and watch how this
Certainly.
stock traded after it gapped up in price, and how it just really held on to those gains. Yep, right there. And then there was a pretty mild pullback after such a powerful
Mhm.
gap up, and had a good close. You saw some buyers during the final few minutes of trading here. So as far as a breakout goes, in a very difficult environment for technical breakouts, this one worked very nicely. But again, it was another blowout earnings report. Huge beat on the top line and bottom line, and significantly raised revenue
Guidance.
guidance and earnings guidance as well. So see a lot of these products all over Costco. I just bought one myself recently. But very well run company here that is really selling a lot of product.
Yeah, an impressive growth story, no doubt. Traders should be careful, of course, about chasing the stock here, given that we haven't seen a follow through day yet. So I think that option strategy definitely very smart. I mean, I think if we would have had the green light heading into the report this morning, I would have been aggressive in buying close to the open here, but we'll have to see if an alternate entry can form, and if this breakout can hold. It very well could. So
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
gaps up are tricky, because we've seen plenty of examples where early morning strength is followed up by late afternoon weakness. What I typically like to do with stocks like this is at least watch it for the first half of the trading day, and then check back in later in the afternoon and see how the gap is holding. So we're happy with our options here, and like I said, they expire a week from Friday. So looking pretty good that we'll exercise, and who knows, maybe we'll even get some follow through tomorrow. We'll see.
Okay, and last on our list, we want to take a look at an earnings mover in the security software group, and that is CyberArk. Shares up 8.3% on the day. Impressive growth on the top and bottom lines, especially when it comes to the subscription revenue, Ken. An impressive number.
Yeah, well, the top line overall was up 28%. You can see there, but subscription revenue up 49%. Again, a good heavy volume move for CyberArk today. Again, a stock that I wouldn't call actionable, and I would just go to the weekly chart here and just we have this on the watch list for leaderboard, and this is really a nice support week taking shape here. Another stock that's just trying to form a base, but I suspect if it can, CyberArk can get close to that high from a few weeks ago. It could, yeah, right. It kind of bumps up near those highs. It could drift lower in light volume and really give an ideal entry. So, not interested in buying it today on earnings, but we'll definitely watch the stock in coming days. We're happy to have it on the watch list because this one, when you look at the annual earnings estimates, still a very compelling growth story. Yes, it's a high multiple stock, but you do have pretty explosive growth prospects here. So, a lot of damage in the security software group recently with that, the CrowdStrike
Yes.
debacle last week, but CyberArk is, holding its own here.
Yes. All right. And before we go, let's take a look at some early reaction to some earnings reports out after the bell. Elf Beauty, not a pretty initial reaction here with the stock down almost 6%. Over 5% at the very least. Looks like they did have a beat, but they guided low. So just throwing that out there. TTD, another one that we've been watching, the trade desk up 6%, the initial reaction there. And then SG, this is Sweet Green spiking, a pretty sweet gain here, up 18%. Of course, overnight action doesn't always directly translate to the following day, but good to see, get some feelers out there for what's moving late in both directions, Ken.
Yeah, lots of selling in the restaurant group recently, including Sweet Green, but at least where the stock is trading in after hours, it could be a nice gap above the 50-day moving average. So again, one to watch. We could see the sign of strength that we're looking for in the market as early as tomorrow. So you want to just pay attention to stocks, gapping up on earnings and. We looked at SharkNinja, but Sweet Green looks like a pretty good quarter here, and we'll see if that after hours gain holds. Looks like it could try to break out of a downtrend.
Right. And you bring up a very good point, a good reminder for folks that if we do get a positive market signal tomorrow, what should traders be doing tonight and tomorrow morning to prepare their watch lists?
Well, that's what they should be doing. It's not an environment right now where you're looking to put money to work, but you are looking to kind of fill out your watch lists. Even putting a name like Sweet Green or Shark Ninja on there, or even stocks that are coming down and finding support at key levels. The challenging thing, Ali, as you know, is that that pullback last week was so violent. It really caused a lot of technical damage, not only in the market itself, but in a lot of leading growth stocks. So, continue to build the watch lists. If we do get a follow through day in coming days, remember you want to kind of dip your toe in the market, but leaders and strong performing stocks, if it really is a good follow through day, sometimes they can take 2, 3, 4 weeks to come out. So you don't necessarily have to be there right at the follow through day, but you want to try to put a little bit of money to work, and then but leaders can come out 2, 3, 4 weeks after a follow through day. So if it's a good one, our growth screens should deliver plenty of buy prospects. Right now, I'm not seeing a whole lot, so that just gives
Right.
me reason to be cautious. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what tomorrow brings, as we like to say.
Exactly. And, as you mentioned, just with the extent of the damage, it's going to take a while for not only the market, but individual stocks to put in that time for the repair work. And in past markets, when you do get the sharp declines similar to what we are currently seeing, it takes time to play out. And the first follow through day may not necessarily work. It's not a lock, but that doesn't mean that it won't work. So we'll be taking things day by day and
Yeah, well, I'm
remaining
sure there's
flexible.
a lot of people that would love to get back into Nvidia, and that's why I wanted to talk about it on today's show. But again, a 6% gain in pretty light volume. I mean, it just tells me that the stock has more work to do, and even if it does, move past 110, 120, that 50-day moving average is still a potential resistance level to watch. So overhead supply issues are an issue for the indexes and individual stocks at this point. So be patient, and be open to the possibility of a new uptrend and a new market rally, but also realize that there's some damage out there that usually
Mhm.
takes a little time to repair.
Well said, Ken. All right, everyone, that is it for today. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow morning on IBD Live, and we hope you join us, investors.com/IBD Live, for all the details on that. We are going to be joined by O'Neill Global Advisors Portfolio Manager, Arusha Puris, who you may see appear each week on the IBD podcast. So it'll be great to welcome him back to IBD Live to get an update on his perspective as well. We'll have to
I think
see
we
what the
have
market
Justin
does.
back too. I mean, it sounds like it could be a good show.
Yeah,
Sounds like it
yeah,
will be a good show. Yeah.
yeah. So looking forward to it. We'll see everyone there. And then we'll also see you all right back here tomorrow after the close.